Okay. Right, I'm doing commentary on this video Pagan holiday special from Max.
I refresh my screen. Gives me no countdown. As always, thank you very much, YouTube. Okay, it says that I am live and we have stuff. One person watching now. So there we go. There's no pressure there.
Okay. It's probably Robert.
Could be.
Yeah.
He comes on shortly, Robert.
All right, so here we are. Someone has to chat something, so I'm going to chat. I'm going to say chat. And that way it's recording. All right.
Good.
Greetings all, it's Max and we're back. And we are here with Valerie, and today we are talking about the pagan holidays, man. We're talking about pagan holidays. Where do these holidays come from? Is every holiday pagan? Is every holiday a bad thing? We are going to discuss it. We will actually probably have Rubber Breaker here in not too long. And that's what we're going to talk about. So here we go. Today is obviously Halloween. And I don't think we really need to say too much about that. Kind of a remembrance of the dead, sort of a holiday. That's how it is. Dress your kids up as whatever you want and, yeah, give out candy and do all that stuff. So, Valerie, what do you have to say about it?
Well, I guess it all comes down to the parents, really. I mean, they're teaching their children this. The Bible warns against it. Are you getting feedback? I hear feedback.
Okay. I'm not.
Okay. Deuteronomy 18, 10, 12. I don't have it, but that's weird. I get that.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 18, 10, 12. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through fire. Is that the one you're talking about?
Here we go, Rubber Breaker.
Oh no.
No, I do not want to be.
Oh, it's Robert.
Demons and. Robert.
Hi, how are you?
See you. Good.
Robert, this is Valerie.
Hi, Valerie. How are you?
Good.
She's the only other person that I trust on the live stream.
Okay. And Brett too, right?
Brett and Valerie are the only two.
Yep.
What happened to Brett? He's not here today either?
He's probably out trick or treating with his kids.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. So what's going on? What's the topic? What are y'all talking about?
No, we just started, and obviously because today is Halloween, what we're doing is we're going to cover Halloween first and then move on into the other holidays and talk about those and the origins of those.
Okay.
So we're doing Halloween right now.
Go ahead.
And we just started like 20 seconds ago.
Well, I know that Halloween came from All Saints Day and All Souls Day. From the hallowed Halloween. The background is not very pleasant. I can't pronounce this, but Shamham, the origin of Halloween, can be traced to this ancient pagan festival celebrated by the Celtic people over 2,000 years ago. They believe that the dead could walk among the living in time, and the living could visit the dead. However, the Bible clearly teaches that the dead are conscious of nothing at all, which is Ecclesiastes 9:5. Thus, they cannot contact the living.
You know, I saw a television show that did that. It's called The Walking Dead.
Oh.
It's very popular.
Yeah, I know. A lot of this vampire and Walking Dead is quite popular.
Yeah, everybody loves it. Cinco de Mayo is a huge thing, and that's the Mexican version of Halloween. They worship dead.
Oh yeah, and you're walking around all day today, and you're seeing people all dressed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to ghosts, vampires, werewolves, witches, and zombies. Um, did I say Ephesians 6:12?
No.
I don't have that scripture, but and the pumpkins, I guess they resemble
Yeah, I also hate
uh,
Halloween
supplicants
with a
moved from door
passion
to
as
door
well,
asking
mate.
for food in return for a prayer. It's for the dead, and will carry hollowed out turnip lanterns, whose candle, I can't read that, a soul trapped in purgatory.
Well, there we go with the Catholic stuff. I mean, here, what it comes down to is all these holidays. Okay, there's nothing wrong with celebrating a lot of these holidays because they have sort of a good idea behind them, but they all just happen to be placed on these very pagan dates and very
Exactly.
special pagan dates. That's what it comes down to. Is yeah, we're gonna put Christmas on the pagan sun god, and we're
Well,
gonna celebrate that.
do you think that maybe it was the Catholics that tried to absorb it so that
Oh, they did.
they
Constantine.
can convert them?
I think it's actually written in history that Constantine did that. You have a pagan nation in the Romans. They're all pagans. They convert to Christianity, or at least Constantine did. And he says, well, we're going to make these holidays, and we're going to call them Christ holidays,
having
even though
dinner.
they're not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amen. Sorry.
It's okay.
My Halloween shish kebabs.
Oh, there you go.
One for each of you. Here you go.
So, I mean, on Halloween, there is a lot of pastors out there that really are just insanely mad about kids going trick-or-treating. Oh, they dressed up like a witch. They dressed up like a witch. Satan. What do you guys think about that as far as, following holidays and things like that? Well, Halloween.
I don't think it's biblical. I don't think any holidays are biblical. I think the only one we should really notice probably is the Passover, and I think that's all that he told us to observe or to remember. Even his birth. I mean, it wasn't his birth that we were to remember; it was his death.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Halloween. It's the devil's holiday or holiday, and it really bothers me that people will even celebrate this. But it's what the world does, so the world does it. But I don't have to.
That's right, Rob.
I don't like churches doing anything for it. I really don't like that at all.
No,
but,
and they seem to, though, Robert. They seem to have like church socials for children.
That is very strange to have a church do that.
Yeah.
It is very strange.
Yeah. They'll have the party so that the kids don't have to go door to door.
Right. That's what. Well, here's a church that we know of. They say, well, this is so that they don't go door to door. We come here instead.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't think we should celebrate something that remembers evil and witches and things like that are definitely satanic. And I was going to read a verse because you mentioned this earlier. Proverbs 8:36. See, is that right? Yeah, but he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. This is God speaking. All they that hate me love death. And boy, I tell you, Halloween is the day that everyone loves death. They all dress like skeletons and zombies and vampires and just dead things. And it's gross. Why should we worship and celebrate death? We should celebrate life. So,
but they're adults too. Adults are doing it, and I find it very childish. But I don't understand. Like, are they trying to draw attention to themselves, or what is it?
Well, I think people are just dressing up.
I think that's what people like, is being somebody different for one day.
Yeah.
But still, it's celebrating a satanic holiday. That's what it is. It's not right to worship Lucifer. And you're actually, in a way, doing that. Why don't they pick another day out of the year to dress up and call it Dress Up Day? I mean, why are you? It's just, I don't want to jump on a bandwagon. I'm not a bandwagon person. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of Halloween, especially knowing the history of it. And I do have a video about it on YouTube of Halloween. An interesting story is yesterday a guy called in Austin, Texas that has a radio station, and he asked if he could play my YouTube video, just audio, on his radio for today. So I don't know if he did, but he wanted to use my Halloween video on radio. So I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. So I don't know if he did or not, but I gave him permission.
That's good.
Yeah.
Everybody
Okay.
who's dressing up is going to hell. You're all going to hell. Come on, you know that's what you're doing.
I want to make a public apology.
Really? Uh-oh.
Before,
I didn't know that bone broth was so good for you.
Oh, it is.
That
It
stuff
is.
it's like condensed broth, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but if you actually make soup,
Yeah.
you throw the bones in there, and then you got bone broth.
it's the marrow. The marrow is good for you.
I thought you were just kidding.
No, I'm
But
not
you were
kidding.
kidding.
No, I'm serious. But like anybody who makes soup, right? You eat a chicken, and then you have nothing left but the carcass. You throw it in a pot, and that's how you get your chicken broth, and that's bone broth.
It's good too.
Yeah.
All the minerals are in that marrow.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And of course, you can grind up to powder the bones and eat that, and it's calcium. I don't do that, but
I
know
put all
people
my
used
bone
to.
broth away in my storable food now. I can't break out Felix Jones anymore. You gotta have a shirt on.
no tinfoil hat.
No. Well, I have my
Well,
hat here. But
I know. Remember when I was a kid, we weren't allowed to do trick or treat. My parents were very much against it, so I never,
What is that?
in my life, ever went trick or treating. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We were
And
sort
I
of.
thank God for that. Yeah.
That's a good thing. I think my parents just follow suit with the Joneses down the street, because
Right. And
we
Do
were
you
allowed
remember?
to.
Do you remember the big deal that when kids would get candy, they would have razor blades in it or
Right.
things
Oh,
like that to make the kids sick?
Did that actually
Can you
happen?
imagine?
I mean, what's going on now is they're putting meth in the candy.
I was going to mention that. Somebody told me that today. Some kids
Yeah, it
got
was on
candy
the
with
grocery
crystal
store.
meth in it. Can you imagine? Wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
Or trying to get them addicted at a young age.
I guess so.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yep.
So the origins of the holiday. Does anyone know about that? Was that
It goes back to the Druids and way back. Evil
Goes back
people.
to Babel.
Mhm.
well? They all do. All of them.
That I
Yeah, think
know.
of holidays. They all go back there.
It goes back to well, all the way back to Genesis chapter 6, because the sons of God made of the daughters of men, and they produced giants.
Yeah.
I hear that the Druids would make these big used men that were giants. What's so funny? I don't know. Oh, I'm watching the delay, and people are laughing. Okay, but they would build gigantic giants, and then they'd burn them. I mean, every year here in America, don't they have the
Burning
what do they call
Man.
that? The Burning Man.
Burning Man.
And so Halloween was a time to burn a big giant. And also, oftentimes they'd make a cage inside of the belly of it and put a person in there and burn it. So burning of giants in Halloween time, that's something they used to do in England. And it all ties back into the Bible, worship of fallen angels and demons and things like that. So to me, not a good day.
No.
Amen. Mm.
But you can't.
But ribeye steak, now that is good. Mm.
There you go.
Wow. Amen.
I had lamb for dinner.
Lamb.
Lamb is wonderful.
Yeah.
Lamb
what's
and
this?
yam.
Lamb and yam.
Mm-hmm. Yam is good.
So I guess we'll move on. Obviously, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
I dressed up and trick-or-treated as a kid, therefore I'm going to hell.
Mhm.
No,
No.
no.
It's part of the tradition.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know any better.
Yeah, people don't know where the stuff comes from, and it kind of becomes something else with pretty much every one of these things. I normally don't call out names for people who teach certain things, but guy out there, Steven Anderson, is adamantly against Halloween, but he is really loving of Easter and Christmas, man. He
Oh,
really
wow.
likes that, and it's like, what's the difference?
Yep.
I mean, what's the difference when you look
Yep.
at where these things come from? And I think of actually Halloween doesn't make any excuses or any bones about what it is. It is worship of the dead. That is what it is. So is Cinco de Mayo, same thing. They don't make any excuses. But when you're saying, oh yeah, December 25th, that's the birth of Jesus, when no, not really. No. And Easter is the resurrection? No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was doing some research and December, is it Bal? Oh, if I wrote that down.
yeah, Baal.
Baal?
Yep, Baal.
Apparently, Easter is his wife. Is that correct?
Ishtar. Yeah.
Ishtar.
Ishtar or Ashtardi. Mhm.
Yeah, Ashtardi. They go by different names. They go way, way, way back, and they all have different names. Isis
Goes back to
Horus.
Nimrod.
Yeah.
Right back to Nimrod. Isis Horus said, Ishtar, Baal, Tammuz is the son.
Right, Tammuz. And that name is in the Bible. And we see Israel worshiping Tammuz, which is interesting.
Yep.
So this is all historical and ties into the Bible. So you had your pagans and you had God's chosen people. And how easy God's people fell into paganism. As you read the Old Testament, how easy the Jews picked up the pagan holidays. And how are we seeing that today? How easy Christians fall into following things like Halloween, Christmas, Easter. I don't. The best book that I ever read that taught me about all that was The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop. He really shows how they all have the same thing in common. They all come from the Druids. They all come from Nimrod worship, Babylon. So the Mystery Babylon religions. So I'm not a fan of Christmas. I don't celebrate the tree, which is in the Bible, matter of fact.
I know.
Tells
It is, yeah.
Tells
Yep.
us not to decorate trees like that.
Yep.
And Yuletide logs. Go ahead.
Isn't that funny how that's directly, expressly prohibited in there? Now, understandably, at this point in time, I believe it's in Leviticus. I'm not positive on that. But at this point in time, everybody in the world other than the Jews are considered heathens. And this is the practice that they're going through, is taking evergreen tree, putting it up in their house, tacking it to the floor. I mean, the Bible says they tack the tree to the floor and decorate it.
I'm trying to find that.
Jeremiah
Jeremiah 20?
10? I think it's 10.
10.
It's not 9 or 10.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And yep, and it's there.
So, but at the end of the day, these are traditions. And the Bible also says that after we go into the New Testament, do whatever traditions you want to do. I mean, most people, 99% of people out there on Halloween, it's just a day to dress up and go have fun. Okay?
Jeremiah 10,
I
yeah.
think so. I think they put themselves first.
Yeah.
As
I
far
like
as I'm
what-
concerned.
I like what you said there, Max. The word is customs.
Yes.
In Leviticus 18:30. Therefore you shall keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord your God. So God is speaking to Israel, and he says, look, the heathen have their customs. Don't be partaker of their customs. And yet that's exactly what people are doing today. The holidays, the holy days, the holy customs of those satanic people that worship Lucifer.
Mhm.
And with that word custom, that Jeremiah 10, verse 3 says, for the customs of the people are vain. where one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of his hands, the workman with an axe, and then it continues there. I don't know if you've got it there. You can finish reading that if you want to. So, yeah, we should not pick up the customs of the heathen. That's for sure.
Yep.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they put up a tree in Bethlehem?
Yeah, they don't believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they did.
No,
Jews
let
put
it
it up. I guess that, well, there's Catholics over there, and they have their monasteries and churches, so maybe that's the Catholics doing that. Because the Jews don't want anything to do with Jesus, so I'm sure that they probably frown on that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been, well, once I learned, I've always been against a tree.
Yeah.
And I remember our last tree that we had, instead of buying an evergreen, because we live in Florida, I bought a royal palm. It was about 6 feet tall. So we had a palm tree inside the house in the big old pot. That was our last Christmas tree. And I told my dad, this doesn't mean anything to me. And from what I know now in the Bible, reading it, I'd rather not do this anymore.
Good.
My dad said, yeah, son, that's good. He says, I was hoping you'd come around.
Good.
he put up with it all those years without saying anything. He had
Rob.
grace on us. But I'm so glad that he was like, yep, we won't do that anymore, son. Cause,
Good.
Well,
Amen.
didn't someone have a palm tree and someone had a fern tree? Yes.
Yeah, in ancient Egypt, they would use palm trees and worship palms, and the palm leaves they would use to, I don't know, in their customs and everything. So, yep.
I don't know. As far as Christmas goes, yeah, I'm just not a tree guy. Just not gonna do it. It's in there in the book that says, yeah, don't do that. Even though I'm not a Jew,
Right.
it is to Jew people. I'm like,
Do
well,
you have your?
I can
have
save
your,
the money.
You got your Bible? Can you read the rest of that passage there in Jeremiah 10?
I don't have it up.
All
I
right.
got like 20 things up right now.
Okay.
It's all
Jeremiah 10. All
I
right.
read verse 3, so from 3 down, well, at least everybody would know what we're talking about.
Oh, sure. For the customs of the people are in vain. One cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of hands of the workmen, with the axe. Their works, okay? They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as a palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. For so much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For it doeth it appeareth, for so much as among all wise men and nations, and in their kingdoms, there is none unlike unto thee. So in this, it's basically saying, don't worry if somebody has a Christmas tree. Don't go over there with your holy water and your cross and think that they're, what do you call, a vampire or something like that. It's just saying,
the wicked witch. No,
I don't know. I mean,
they're melting.
he's telling the Jews not to do it, but just because some people do it, I don't know.
I just find it very uncomfortable because I have to be around it.
Yeah, and we live in a world where it's real, and they do it. So for Halloween, we thankfully don't have any family that we get together with, and we don't celebrate it, so we can ignore that. But when it comes to Christmas, that's a different story. That's one of the best times of the year to get together with your family because people are off and everything. So that's kind of hard on some people going to visit family, and then they've got that stuff. So we made it very clear to our family, we're not into the custom part. Now, we're together to eat, and we'll do that. And we get together, and we have food, and we love it. And sometimes they'll give us presents, and then, sometimes we'll give them presents. I don't see it as an evil custom to give somebody something.
Yep, good.
But we try not to do it the way the world does, and make sure when we do it, we're not thinking, hey, I'm worshiping a false god here. No, I just care about you, and I want to get you something. I thought about you all year, and I wanted to give you something. So that's kind of the way we look at it. But no mistletoe or things like that.
While we're talking about Christmas, we may as well get into the origins of where that comes from. And here's the big thing with this is there's documentaries out there like a thing called Zeitgeist, which has been around for a long time from a bunch of nutcases. who basically say that Jesus is just a conglomerate of all of these old pagan deities. And, see, Jesus was born on December 25th, so therefore he is this pagan deity, when in fact they were worshiping the pagans, and they had no idea when Jesus was born, so they just made it the same day. It's like, so...
Yeah. Well, that's...
that.
Go. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Is Valerie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to talk about Mass. I looked that up.
Right.
It's actually
Mass. Yeah.
It's called a dismissal. So
Really?
So Christ is they're dismissing the fact that Christ is there. It's coming from the Roman Catholic Church, from the Mass.
The Church of Satan.
That's good.
Yeah, you have to look it up. The term Mass is derived from the ecclesiastical Latin formula for the dismissal of the congregation. Go, it is sending a dismissal. So I found that interesting on the meaning of that word.
Right, and that's where Christmas comes from. Christ Mass, M-A-S-S, but they cut off the S, and so they just say Christmas. But it's not.
Christ dismissed.
And in America, they did not celebrate Christmas. The Puritans and people like that came to America, they were Protestants that were very much against Catholicism, and no one celebrated Christmas in America until about 1840. The first state that allowed Christmas to be celebrated was Alabama, of all places. And then little by little, more and more people began to celebrate Christmas. And one of the biggest ways that it spread throughout America was that famous article, yes, somebody, I forget the name of the article, yes, so-and-so, there is a Santa Claus. And they started to spread that. Yeah, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. And that, I think, was the 1880s. So really, Christmas has really been celebrated in about the 1880s, 1890s, from then on in America.
Yep.
Before that, many, many, many Christians were against Christmas and Christmas trees and things like that.
It's just a deception for the innocents, I think.
Right.
Because they're told to pray to Santa Claus, and he's writing their name in a book, and
Satan Claus.
Bad, and Satan Claus.
Satan and his little demon elves. An elf is a demon, believe it or not.
Yep.
And tree. They worship a tree.
That's where the claws comes from.
Yeah, the claws. C-L-A-W-S.
Didn't he have a sidekick? And Nicholas? Saint Nicholas. Old Nick.
No, they have two. I watched a thing where basically Santa Claus is Odin. That's where it generally
comes from. Yeah.
Odin.
But then because of the Jewish having two sacrifices for their main deal, you got the goat that's you put all your sins on, and I forget the term for it. You got the one you sacrifice and the one that you kind of let go. Scapegoat. There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
And in other countries, believe it or not, you have Santa Claus who shows up with two goats behind that look like demons, and that's the standard thing that they do. And
it's interesting how a lot of this comes from Germany and from the Norse myths and things like that. And the Germans, they used to worship wood. They would literally worship oaks, and they believed that there were spirits inside the oaks. So you've got the wood. Well, what's the tree? It's wood. And today we're in Halloween. Hallow is holy. And so you go out west among the trees. There's a place called Hollywood. Holy wood.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's probably Satan's capital right now. And he loves that place.
Yeah.
You know where it is? This is what's so funny. You know where it's centered? In a place called Los Angeles. Los Angeles means the angels.
Yeah.
So you got fallen angels, probably, a lot of them around there, and saying, hey, worship us on the silver screen. And it's all about the worshiping of stars. Yeah, you become a star. So all that stuff ties together. Yeah, pretty incredible.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Yep.
Yeah, and that goes in there. It goes back to Norse. It goes back to Norse stuff.
Now, someone was saying something about the lights, though. Even though I don't like Christmas, I love Christmas lights. Just driving down the road, seeing those. And every year we would get together and go to the rich people's part of town that spend $10,000 or $20,000 a year to decorate. just drive by and look and just say, wow, isn't that beautiful? So even though it's bad, there's some stuff that you can, appreciate.
There's some beauty, but
there's some beauty.
Deception behind the beauty too.
And Satan's an angel of light, though, so we shouldn't be worshiping light. Yeah. But still, it is kind of beautiful. But at the same time,
that's what the world is going to. It's getting away from the tradition and going to festivals of light. It's almost like becoming worldwide a festival. It's not Christmas, it's not holidays anymore, it's a festival of lights.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the Jews celebrate, Hanukkah, the festival of the lights.
Right.
But we have it here too. Well, we go see the lights, it's a festival of the lights.
Yeah. Well, we have a church here in town, well, actually in Pensacola, St. Anne's, and every year they decorate and they say, come see the lights. And St. Anne's is the Catholic Church. So that's odd. I just thought of that.
I don't know what other religions celebrate as far as the lights are concerned, but I'm sure they have something similar.
And so they're fun to look at, but every time I see one, it's like they went way overboard. I think, I wonder what their power bill is. What a waste of money, really, on vanity, because you're just to look pretty for a couple months out of the year, you spend.
Oh, come on, you just leave them all year.
Yeah, I think they'd go bankrupt if they did that.
Yeah, but what else is kind of silly?
What's that?
Is if you like them so much, why don't you leave them up all year?
Yeah, the people in my town do.
Do they?
I'm not on.
Just leave them up.
They'll complain.
People. Like they look at it and they go, "Well, it's really high to get up there on the roof." And
no, but I mean, turn them on. You turn them on.
No, they never turn them on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you turn them on because you love them, I mean, why can't you?
Yeah.
They'll call the city on you or something.
Yeah. Someone says, doesn't the red and green lights represent something? Well, if you're out in the water, a red light and a green light are, to leave out the channel. But I don't know if they mean anything on land. Yeah,
starboard.
Red, right, returning. So, it's fun.
What do you guys think about Thanksgiving? Is Thanksgiving a pagan holiday?
I don't think so.
I never thought it was either. But I sure enough, if I search it, somebody says it is.
Well, I'm sure they probably do. But it's the Pilgrims came over here for religious freedom from the Catholics that wanted to kill them, the Spanish Inquisition and things like that.
Yep. And
they were literally thanking God for the Indians helping them make it through the winter and not starving to death. So that doesn't sound like a pagan. Let's worship Lucifer. That sounds like, hey, let's thank God for something. And I don't think it's wrong to thank God for things. That's one
of those things where they placed that on a particular holiday. And anyone who has looked at like the Catholic holidays, there is a holiday every day of the week.
Yeah.
And, you can always call it pagan.
Because you go to Italy, oh my goodness, every day there's something.
Oh, yeah.
Something every day. It's Saint this or it's Saint that or we're celebrating this and that.
I'm really upset that my pagan calendar website or whatever hasn't been updated because it is literally every day. Yeah. You have a holiday from because they have so many saints and things. The Catholics.
They closed out the whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see Catholic priests or Catholic so-called saints and they have a book, many people think, oh, that's a Bible. It's not. It's the Missal. I think it's spelled Missal. And the Missal is like a gigantic calendar of every day, what the holiday is, what the so-called traditional readings are, and things like that. So instead of a Bible, they carry a book that's just as thick called the Missal. And they couldn't do their religion without that book because it tells them what to do every single day.
Well, no, because the Pope changes their Bible all the time.
Yeah. So it's really sad.
Their catechism goes against what they say, and the Pope says, no, I'm going to change that. And they don't reprint the book. They just have to have their black Sharpie marker and just say, Pope said that's not right.
Right. Somebody says Thanksgiving is good, but pagans made it bad by having Black Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They have to commercialize it.
I know. I used to love Black Friday, get up, 4 a.m. to go out and get a deal. But they're not deals anymore, and it's not anything worth anything.
Well, you don't have to
junk
get
stuff. So now you got Cyber Monday computer.
You can shop online.
Yeah,
you don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah, there's no reason to leave the house. But Thanksgiving's good because again, it's getting together with family and getting around the table and eating, and that's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah, there isn't any other than eating and football, there is nothing else going on
American
Thanksgiving.
football.
Unless football is pagan somehow.
See, the Detroit Lions always play, and what are the other 3 teams that play every Thanksgiving? Can't remember, but they're always playing every Thanksgiving.
Not sure. Packers, maybe?
I don't know about the Packers.
Nice hat.
You got your
Yeah.
Packers hat.
I was just there, so I had to put it on. Yeah.
How come you didn't come back with a cheese hat? Cheese head.
Well, I thought about it, and I'm like, nah. But I did come back with some cheese curds. They
Yeah,
gave me
I
some
love
cheese
the
curds. Man, they're good. I wish they sold those around here. I'd buy some more. Cheese curds are awesome. Yeah, they're probably pagan though. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you probably
Obviously.
the pagan cheese curd festival.
Yes.
Well, there is Oktoberfest. That's pretty cool too. The
Yeah.
Germans.
Is that a what is that? Because
It's an excuse for Germans to get drunk on
Yeah.
beer. Is all I know.
Oh,
Yep, that's about it.
Oktoberfest is just go get drunk on beer, but it probably goes back to paganism, I'm sure, somehow or another. That'd be worthy of further study.
Well, then you have your leprechauns.
Yeah, you have St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
we love St. Pat's.
And St. Patrick wasn't Catholic. He was before the Catholic Church started, so I think he was preaching right. But then they took him and they turned him into something else.
Drunken
What's that?
leprechaun.
A drunken leprechaun day. Yeah. Every year Chicago turns the river green, with all this green dye and stuff.
Man. What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. Think of all the money wasted in holidays like that. If they could have been used to feed the poor or something. But no, it's all vanity. That's what the more I read the Bible and the more I read Ecclesiastes, vanity of vanity, all is vanities. I'm like, yeah, all is vanity if you think about it. It really is.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right, Robert. Yep.
Yep. Really sad.
What it comes down to though is without our pagan holidays, we have no holidays. We have no Christian holidays at all. None.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And
Yep.
we don't need them. We
don't.
really don't.
We celebrate every day.
make up my own holiday, right? Like Seinfeld, we're gonna have Festivus.
For the rest of us.
That's okay.
Festivus for the rest of us.
That's right.
Huh. And now what about birthdays?
I know.
Right, you
Actually,
look at
that was
that.
on my mind.
Nowhere in the Bible does it say to celebrate a birthday. And the only times you see it showing up, somebody dies when they celebrate it. There's 2 times. One of the times was Herod, and then John the Baptist got his head cut off because Herod's, wasn't it his stepdaughter, I think? And he says, what do you want for your birthday? And she said, his head.
Anything. Yeah.
And if I remember right, didn't they celebrate Pharaoh or something, his birthday, and somebody died? So, yeah, that's not very good context in the Bible.
No, it's not good.
For celebrating a birthday. And if you think about it, it's just when you were born, but you really lived 9 months before that. So, it's an odd thing. But hey, if we didn't have birthdays, we wouldn't get gifts. So, amen.
People need their own holidays. I need
Yeah.
my own holiday. Just
Well, I'm starting to celebrate Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Just kidding. The made-up black people's holiday for Christmas.
Is
The
it-
Christians
really?
have
Is that what that
Christians
is?
have Christmas, the Jews have Hanukkah, and then black people from Africa are like, well, we don't have anything, so they made up Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a made-up African holiday, just literally made up out of thin air.
Oh,
10, 20, 30 years ago, whenever they came out with it. And you're supposed to
well,
accept
at least
it like,
at least it's not pagan.
well, it probably is. I don't know. It might be. I don't know what they do. But
I was going to ask, what is it that they do?
I don't know, but they call it Kwanzaa, and I remember when they started making it, and it's just like, let's make something up out of scratch. And celebrate.
I've only heard of it, and I know a lot of people who are. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but people who don't want to go into with like Easter, Christmas, and the standard things, so they actually follow the Jewish holidays, and that's their deal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you got Paul in there who says God doesn't care if you do that or not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
not
Neither
doing it for
regardeth.
worship. They're just
Right.
doing it because they don't agree with Christmas or Easter or whatever. So they're going to follow the Jewish ones. Like, go ahead, go for it. I mean, if I had kids, I'd be out trick or treating right now. I'd almost guarantee it because
Just to get the candy, huh?
just because the kids need to have a good time, and they don't understand anything about any of this stuff anyway. And then later on, then you tell them, okay, this is what's going on.
Would you do the same about Christmas?
Yeah, I'd still celebrate Christmas, but I
Right.
wouldn't have a tree in my house or do have any decorations, but I would bring them to my family's house where they would have a tree and I would explain what it is. And
I wouldn't have a tree.
they don't care. They just want their box with my Legos in it. I don't
Your
care.
stockings.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
want my-
give me Legos.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a verse regarding a day that reminded me of Romans 14:5-6. One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
Yep.
And that almost sounds like God saying, look, study the holidays to make up your mind if you should or shouldn't regard them. But verse 6 says, he that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doth not regard it. He that eateth to the Lord, or he giveth God thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not and giveth God thanks. So if you can celebrate pagan holidays and regard it to the Lord, then okay. But how do you do that when you're doing customs of the heathen?
Yep.
So sounds like you can make up your own holidays as long as they're for the Lord and you're thinking about Jesus. Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm not that strict. Kind of like nobody knows the origins of Christmas and Easter. Halloween, kind of everybody knows, but like
Yeah.
Christmas and Easter, nobody really knows.
But the thing is, if you're teaching your children this,
Oh well, I'm never gonna. If I have a wife pops a kid out tomorrow, I'm not going to tell them Santa Claus exists.
yeah.
If he pops the kid out tomorrow. That's how it works. Okay.
Well, that's what I was getting to. I mean, because then how do they judge the truth later on? Because
Right.
I remember it was devastating to me, because then I was questioning, questioning God after that. So, but
Right.
I didn't go. I mean, I'm glad I didn't go down that road. But
Sure.
Sounds like somebody got a lump of coal in their stocking.
Don't. But really, you think about it, they are lying to children to tell you there is a Santa. And then your kids are going to grow up and then say, well, Mommy, Daddy lied about that. And maybe they're lying about all that time we went to
What
church.
else
And,
is?
all these. And it really does affect a child. It is
Yeah.
not good to lie and tell them there's a Santa when there's not. Really sad. So, amen.
You just broke Santa Claus for everybody on the internet.
That's fine.
I hope you're happy with yourself.
Satan. I actually am. That's kind of nice. The guy who killed Santa.
All these
Yeah.
kids with
See
their
that?
ears all perked
See right
up.
there?
Going, "Ah, there's no Santa
Killed
Claus.
Santa right there. Yep.
What? There's no Easter Bunny either? No.
What? Yep. Now that goes back to Easter too. We weren't allowed to do the egg things and things like that. And when you study that out, that's pagan as it can be. It all goes back to Nimrod and the rebirth of the death of Nimrod and things like that. So question everything.
Yeah.
What does the Bible say? Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. So it's not wrong to question things and then stick with what the Bible says.
Yeah, Easter here is the Feast of Ishtar is what it pretty much is formally known as. And Ishtar was the fertility god. And I don't believe it was Baal, but kind of put him back together. And then you have, I think, Tammuz was also a part of that. And that's why you have eggs and bunnies, the most fertile animals on the planet.
Yeah, fertility. Yep.
That's where it all comes from. That's where it all comes from.
Eggs from bunnies.
And the significance of December 25th, again, we're going to go back to this. For a lot of people will diss Christianity as being a copy of all these ancient religions
Okay.
because they place Jesus Christ's birth at December 25th, which is the birth of the sun god.
Yeah.
But that was just a decision made by the Catholic Church. That was
The
a
Catholic
decision made by
Church.
Constantine.
False church.
That's
the Church
it.
of Satan.
Nobody knows when Jesus was born, and they picked that date because it is the winter solstice, and that's when their traditional holidays always were. And when the state moved over to Christianity, They converted the pagans or tried to convert the pagans, and they said, well, we'll just make it the same holiday. So no, Jesus was not taking after. He's not a fictional character just made up of all these people. That's what's been put out there by movies like Zeitgeist and things like that. It's not the case. It's the Catholic Church placed that date. And because the Gregorian calendar is a Catholic calendar, they can make up whatever days they want to and put things exactly where they want to. And pretty well every holiday we have is basically a pagan date. Because
December 25th was the festival of Saturnia. And Saturn is another name for Nimrod. So, and many people don't understand that the way that the Catholics evangelized was Catholicism went into the pagans and said, oh, we've got those same statues that you have. A woman holding the baby. Yeah, that's Mary and that's Jesus. Now just convert to us. We worship the same. We just change the names. And that's how so often that they went in and started missions is by just saying, no, that's no longer whatever names you say. That's Jesus and Mary. Now you worship us. And they had so much in common with the pagans because they worship the same way. Why is that? Because that's what Roman Catholicism is. Christianity mixed with paganism. And that's why they found it so easy to convert, if you will, the pagans, because they still do the same practices. So,
well, it's not working.
It is to a large extent.
It is?
I think so. I mean, everyone in America celebrates all of these holidays. So.
They do, but for the wrong reasons.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's not working. Yeah.
I don't think that the Roman Catholics care. I don't think that a lot of people really care.
Right.
I mean, is there a non-pagan holiday that isn't developed by the state? We got Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What else?
They're coming up with more.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fine. But I mean, all of the major holidays that are basically federal holidays all across the world, they're all Roman Catholic holidays. And just kind of how it is.
Sure. Yeah, as long as we don't celebrate Ramadan, we're good.
I don't even know when that is.
I want to say it's close to Christmas time, but it's when they do their fasting. The Islamic feasting, or not non-feasting.
I like that.
They're supposed to fast, right, until the next day. So they all stay up until midnight and then eat and gorge themselves. And then they say we fasted.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you supposed to go to sleep and then eat when you wake up in the morning? But that's how they do that. That's funny.
No, that's like Lent.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing.
Yep.
Good Friday, Ash Wednesday, and all this stuff. Like what?
But you brought up a good point about how, and I've heard this too, there are people out there that say they won't believe in Christianity because they say that Jesus and all the stories in the Bible all come from paganism. And that's what they claim, is that it's all been before in the pagan teachings.
True.
But the devil has taken what the Bible is teaching and he's made his own religion first. And so he's imitated Jesus in many ways before Jesus came. The oldest prophecy in the Bible is Genesis chapter 3, and it's the promised seed. And as you continue reading the Bible, you get more prophecies about what the seed will be like. Well, the devil read the Bible too. And so he's making all these men like Nimrod and others to tell people that, they're the promised seed, remember? Because the whole world knew the promise made to Eve and Adam. So he has tried to steal the prophecies of the Bible. And that's what the pagan religions do. And that's why it's wrong to say, well, Christianity just comes from paganism. It's not true. Christianity is the true fulfillment of the Bible prophecy. Paganism is the devil trying to falsely say, no, we're the prophecy. No, we're the prophecy. And people need to understand that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
So Nimrod is a type of Christ. But he's a false type.
He's a false
really type of the Antichrist. Yeah. And he's tried to say that he was the promised seed. So, yeah, it is interesting. There are a lot of parallels between Nimrod and Jesus.
And it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. It's not over.
Jesus is the promised seed. Nimrod is not. Mm-hmm. So, yep. And the Antichrist will come. And I believe when the Antichrist comes, he will point people to the scriptures and say, look at me. I'm the promised Christ. Yes, I'm the promised seed. and people will look at the Bible and go, yeah, that's this guy,
Right.
and they'll really think that the Antichrist. Old Peter Ruckman, my old Bible teacher, he said, when the devil shows up, he'll show up and say his name is the Lord Judas Christ. I don't know if that's true or not, but he comes in his own name, Judas, the son of perdition. So I don't know, man. Wouldn't that be weird? But it's really sad that people will follow tradition rather than the Bible. And how's the easiest way to find out if it's true religion or false religion? A false religion gets you to sacrifice animals, or not animals, but human beings. And that's what paganism did, is it destroyed people, killed people, and it's all about doing evil toward others. And true Christianity is about doing good and being saved, coming to Jesus, all about Christ. So, yeah. So that's why these holidays are all about, let's make merry and go give people gifts. It's, hey, I feel good about myself. Like you said, Lent. Hey, I'm going to not do this for 40 days so I can be good about it. It's the works gospel.
Don't you
not
find
the true gospel.
Don't you find the darkness and the evil is becoming more acceptable?
Yeah.
And,
For a long time.
yeah,
But darkness doesn't appear dark.
no,
So people look at darkness and they think, there's nothing
Oh,
wrong
it's
with giving
okay.
people gifts. Well, there's nothing wrong with lying to a child and telling them, wink, wink, there's a Santa Claus while we give them gifts. No, there's a lot wrong with that. So that's what's so sad, is how evil masquerades like it's pretending to be good,
but it's not just that anymore. It's how things are going. Like even marriage isn't marriage anymore.
Sure.
What other do I have? Like abortion's acceptable. It's
Yeah.
people just don't think about it anymore. They just do it.
Well, yeah. Here's what it is. It's the lack of morals. Satan destroys your morals. Satan does not want immoral people. And if you look at Satanism itself, what is Satanism? Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law, is what a Satanist says. So Satanism is whatever feels good, do it. So in Satanism, good is sin, basically. So whatever makes you feel good, that must be good. So go do it. Go sin. And that's very evil.
And it's becoming acceptable. And like I
It's
say,
becoming acceptable.
you can't even speak against it or speak
Right.
because you might offend somebody. And it's just becoming, well, it might as well get to the point where you don't even say anything because
Right.
Don't
you don't want to
call-
hurt somebody or offend them.
Exactly.
Don't call Muhammad a pedophile.
And
Right.
he is.
But it's like you
You're
said,
gonna get
Max. It's like you said, Max. It's all about the fertility and the paganism. Paganism, if you go back and look the last 6,000 years, the pagans, in their worship festivals, it always went toward sexual misconduct. It was always
Pretty much.
orgies and getting babies so that when the babies came, you could sacrifice them to your false god and things like
that
that.
goes back to,
So
you got obelisks, obviously go back to
that's
that.
worshiping male phallics.
And you look at, well, usually an obelisk actually does the female aspect too. And then you look at what Roman Catholics are doing. They have pine cones. If you see pine cones, you see eggs, stuff like that. We're worshiping Ishtar. That's what we're
Right.
doing. And all of the Pope's little staves that has Jesus on the cross still, they all have the pine cone on there.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're very blatantly pagan worshiping stuff.
But like I said,
The Catholic Church is
They
a false
claim that the
church.
highest
Paul
form of
Malinus
worship
and
is
Jenny
love.
Malinus.
and that sounds good, yeah. But what is love to a lost, wicked, filthy, reprobate pagan who doesn't know right from wrong? Well, nowadays they say free love, sex. So the highest form of worship is sex act. And that's what you find in Masonry. That's what you find in the pagan religion. That's why Mr. Babylon is the mother of harlots. She's a whore, because that's their worship. And my old Bible teacher used to say that when the Antichrist comes, the whole world will be worshiping the same way the ancient pagans did. They'll probably be just butt naked, doing sex acts, drinking the blood of their victims. Which, if you think about, that's what they did. They drank the blood of their victims. So, as sick and disgusting as that sounds to us, because we're Christians, we know that's wrong.
Yep.
Look at the way the world's headed that doesn't know right from wrong. They would think that the highest form of worship is loving someone enough to kill them and drink their blood. And isn't that what that Charles Manson guy did? And you remember those people that he I guess he died not too long ago, didn't he? But Charles Manson, he got these women under him and he taught them the highest form of love is killing someone and drinking their blood. Because you really have to love someone to kill them.
Yep.
That is the way it's all headed. And that's what's so disgusting.
Yep.
It's utterly disgusting. I don't even want to think about it. It's so gross. But yet, what is Halloween? It's, yeah, we love dead things. We love zombies. It's horrible. It's horror. It's sick.
I think for most people, it's play acting. And
yeah,
as a play actor myself, like I said, if I had kids, I would probably have them out running around. But yeah, if you're like in your 20s and 30s and doing it, kind of no.
Yeah.
It's almost become like the Halloween thing. It's almost become what can I outdo the other guy or.
That's with every holiday, and sometimes that's a good thing. Like I have my Bible boxes, and I put out a Bible box, and the neighbor's like, "That guy lives in a junk house, and he's giving away books in his yard. I'm gonna build a bigger one." And it's the same thing with Christmas lights and stuff.
Yes,
it's like he has 2 strings of lights up there. I'm gonna buy 4, and I'm gonna do it. Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, it's the same with dressing up and makeup. They always want to do better than the next person. I don't know. It's almost like they're bringing attention to themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's competition.
Yeah.
For some reason, men love competition. I
don't know why.
I've never been that way. As some guys like, oh, I can bench press more than you. Well, good for you.
Yep.
That does nothing to me. That makes me not want to go beat him. Because then what? All I can say is, yeah, I lifted more than you. Who cares?
I can bench press more than you can.
Probably. Who cares? I mean, what does that have to do with the price of beans in China? I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
That means I'm right and you're wrong.
I mean, it's good to win. I mean, I like to win, but I don't need to win.
Yep.
Especially nowadays with all these little, what do they call them, snowflake people?
Oh, man, I get called a snowflake all the time.
I almost want to go out and do something with somebody and let them win just so they'll feel good because they're devastated if they lose. I can lose and not feel bad. So
they'll have to go to their psychologist and get put on.
Their psychologist, yeah. That mean man beat me. Oh, well.
He beat me in a game of horse.
Don't laugh. Mental health is on the rise.
Well,
everything is just mental health. Categorize them under that.
And it's what is that? There's a video. If you get a chance, buy this DVD on YouTube or on the internet. It's called Psychiatry and Industry of Death. It talks about all these shrinks and everything and how psychology came in and what they used to do is they tortured people and how today they just make up terms. And there used to be like a book that thick of psychological disorders. The book is that thick. And it got that thick over the last 20, 30 years because they just make up a disorder. And they just say, well, I think you have this. So let's make up a name. And then they can literally diagnose you with that disorder that some guy made up. That's not really even anything, but because he said it was. It's one of the biggest scams in the world, psychology.
You know what? One of those original things was one of the original diagnoses for someone who was a homosexual was it was a mental disorder. But because it's politically incorrect, they took it out of the book, and it's no longer a mental disorder.
Isn't that something? It's not a mental disorder. It's beyond that. I think it has to do with Satanism. And a lot of these places, I've been to a couple of these places before to visit, and you've got to wonder if they don't have demons. That's why they're like that. And it's very sad. Very sad to see people have problems like that.
But you can't say anything against it. Because, I mean...
because
you'll be probably taken to court over it,
right, and that's what's so sad. Lester Roloff was a famous evangelist in America, and Lester Roloff said America is an insane asylum run by the inmates, and that makes perfect sense because nothing they do makes sense if you're a sane person, and it's so sad. But you've got to be able to deal with it, and I believe you read the Bible that you can find the homosexuals had demons. They worshipped in groves, the homosexuals. They worship idols. I think behind every idol is a demon. So if you get into that kind of stuff, a demon gives you that desire. That's not a natural desire to want to be with somebody else of your own sex. That's not natural. And what's funny is in the Bible, right next to homosexuality is bestiality and I always get this confused. Not necromancy. Necrophilia. Yeah, necromancy is talking to the necrophilia is having sex with dead people. So if you're a homosexual, you are that far away from having sex with a donkey and having sex with dead people. So don't you tell me that you're not sick and gross and your mind's not shot. You are that way. You are close to that stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know very many homosexuals that would tell me that they think that's normal to go dig up dead bodies and do things with animals. But
it's becoming normal.
Where they are. That's the group that God groups them. Yeah. And that's what's so sad. And that's what it's becoming, though. And before you know it, they'll try to pass. Well, they're already passing laws. NAMBLA, I think it's called. National.
NAMBLA?
What does NAMBLA stand for? National Association for Man-Boy Love or something.
Man-Boy Love Association, yeah.
Yeah, and NAMBLA is saying that it's okay for a grown man to have a little boy and have sex with him and marry him, I guess. And so they're literally pushing towards that and saying, "Oh, we're not sick. We're just born this way." That's the excuse. "Oh, we're just born this way." Okay, well, guess what? I was just born this way. If I offend you, I was just born this way. I can't help it if I offend you by telling you the truth. I was just born this way. I mean, but it's just sad that they try to normalize things that are not only not normal, but satanic in nature. Because only a demon would make you want to have sex with a dead person.
And they're trying to suppress the truth, too. Because you know it's wrong, but you can't say that it's wrong.
Yep.
Just either have to accept it or walk away.
Right. And when you speak up, they say it's hate speech. They say you hate those people. Nothing could be further the truth. I don't hate those people. I care about them. That's why I want them to know the truth.
Yay.
So they get safe. Because where are they going to go if they're not safe?
Hell.
And then they call it, what's the other term? Politically correct. They say you can't say anything. It's not politically correct. Political correctness is communism.
Yep.
We are in communism in America. If people give into that, we are a communist nation. So don't ever let them tell you can't say that. The Constitution says you can say that.
Yep.
So unless it's against the Muslims.
Say it anyway. Get your head cut off faster. Let them make a martyr out of you so more people will hear the truth. I mean, that's how it's always worked, right?
Yep.
The early church, they killed people, and that's why it grew. So you cower down, you stop speaking, then it's over.
Yeah.
But
the more you hold me down, the more I press on.
Yeah, whatever doesn't destroy me only makes me stronger, they say. And my dad used to say, never back down from the truth, ever, no matter what the cost. And if the cost is your head's chopped off, then smile as you go, saying, I told you. And here's what you say when they chop your head off. I'll see you at the judgment. And at the judgment, you'll be on God's side going, remember me? Told you I'd see you. Guess what? Cast into the lake of fire. Yep. Wow. So amen and stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you know that story, the amen and stuff story? Have I told you guys that yet?
Amen and stuff?
Yeah. When I was in Bible school, we had a guy that had just joined to come to Bible school, and he didn't talk well and he didn't talk much and he was very shy, and every time he talked he said and stuff at the end of every sentence. So he'd come up to you, he'd go, how you doing and stuff? It's good to see you and stuff, man. You doing okay and stuff? And then I just couldn't take it. And so one day he got up and gave his testimony in class, and I counted like 56 and stuffs. And when he got done, I go, amen and stuff. And after that, he dropped out of school because all the other kids in class were saying, hey, brother, how you doing and stuff? And I think he felt so bad that he quit school. And to this day, I feel horrible. I hope it wasn't because of me that he quit school, because we mocked him and made fun of him for saying and stuff all the time. So if he's watching, I'm sorry. I felt so bad about that. But, man, it was so hard to listen to him saying stuff all the time. Man.
Yeah. I have my own tropes. I got over the
Yeah.
but I do and.
Oh man, that's a funny story. Okay, in Honduras, there was a man from Alabama who came down there as a missionary, and in English, in between every sentence, it was how are you doing? And are you doing okay? And my wife went to town, and I'm going over here. And when he was preaching in Spanish, he still did it. But he did it in English. So it's like, es un placer estar aquí con ustedes, and estoy bien feliz que estoy aquí, and it was just like, oh my goodness, it was so hilarious. But he didn't realize he was doing it, and yet it was just, I couldn't stop laughing listening.
Oh no, you never know you're doing it until you like watch your video back over.
Well,
and
he
it's
didn't
like,
have any videos. But
that's the reason that like a lot of people can't actually be live and do things on the internet. It's because you can't take that self-criticism. I look at myself and I'm like, I've been doing it so long, I'm like, well, I messed up there. Yeah, well.
Well, that's we all mess up. We all say things we shouldn't.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
People would be like, oh my, I said the wrong word, and I'm saying like 50 times in a row. And
well, that's just it. That's just it. You have to catch yourself, because you don't know if you're going to say something to offend somebody, and you say something that they take the wrong way, and it's not what you really meant.
I'm the king of offending. Right here.
Oh yeah,
I'm the king.
I do it too, and I don't see how, because it wouldn't offend me if somebody said it to me.
Yeah.
I try to understand what people are thinking, but I don't sometimes.
Yeah, and
so.
All right, we should probably get a little bit more closer back on the topic. I think we covered Halloween, we covered Christmas, and we covered Easter. And I guess we'll go to, what's the next one? Valentine's Day, maybe?
Okay.
Valentine's Day. I believe that the actual little guy with the little bow and arrow, what do they call him, Cupid, is actually Tammuz.
Stupid. I call
little stupid
Cupid. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, you buy your girlfriend or wife some flowers every now and then, but they call it a Valentine holiday, and I always thought it was just kind of a made-up holiday.
I think it is.
It isn't.
Not?
No.
Oh, I thought it was
Catholic holiday.
What?
Yeah, Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine.
And what did he do?
Yeah, it comes from Catholicism. Yeah.
Yep, Saint Valentine, and basically they're honoring Tammuz again as being the angel who is blessing people with getting together and being fertile again, of course. And that's
as all these holidays you're talking about, I just keep thinking about how commercialized they are. The love of money is the root of all evil. And Halloween, here in town, you get these places that open up two months before Halloween. It says Halloween store, and they close in November. They're only open 3. So you got people buying costumes. You got Christmas coming. Well, Thanksgiving, the day after. You got Black Friday, money. Christmas is all about buy all our junk. We love garage sales. Most garage sales, people are cleaning out their attic and trying to sell all their Christmas junk, and nobody wants it. And then St. Valentine's Day, what is that? It's all about buying flowers. So it's all about money. It really is. It's quite interesting.
But it puts pressure on people and makes you feel obligated, and I really don't like that.
All of the holidays make you feel obligated.
Yes.
Which is no. I don't know.
No, walk away from that one. I would prefer to receive something just out of the blue.
Sure.
I think that's more important.
Yeah, it means more too, because it wasn't expected. And with these coming everywhere, you're expecting it.
Yeah.
And when someone doesn't get something they expected, that's when they're crushed. That's when they're offended. That's when they're unhappy. And that's sad.
Yeah. So, the last Christmas that I celebrated, I had gifts for everybody, and my parents invited my dad's wife's brother, and one of their kids showed up that I didn't expect. So I didn't have a gift, but I happened to bring my guitar with me. And I'm just like, well, we didn't give him a gift. Here's my guitar. There you go. Have fun, kid. Because I'm obligated. Yeah. Everybody else got a gift. Yeah. Here you go.
All right. Wow.
You should have just played him a song like the Drummer Boy.
Well, I played music and stuff like that, and the guitar only cost like
That was fun.
an $80 guitar. It's not a big deal. But
That's good. That was nice, though. Nice.
Well, you know, Christmas music's kind of pretty though. This time of year, my wife loves to listen to some of it, but some of it, there's some songs I utterly despise. I'm like, turn it off. But then other ones are, you know, kind of fun to listen to. But yeah, the little drummer boy that gets stuck in your head.
I love that one. Yeah.
Oh boy. Hey, how about the I want a hippopotamus for Christmas? Oh, you can't ever get that out of your head.
Really temple.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus for Christmas.
Yeah, you don't know that? Oh, look it up later.
Only a hippopotamus will do. I don't know the words.
Yeah, but you know that much.
I know that much.
Yeah. And what's that one? Last Christmas I gave you my heart. What the heck is that? How do you give somebody your heart? You cut it open, like, and then it says you gave it away. What, they gave it to somebody else?
I think I know which one you mean. Yeah.
That's horrible. I hate that song. Anyway, we'll be hearing it soon as you go to town, though. Everywhere.
Yeah, you guys seem to start right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yep, Christmas stuff is already out. Well, somebody is asking a question here about aliens. Isn't that great? And not the kind that are trying to come down from down south. Outer space aliens.
We covered.
We covered both
most of
Max?
the main.
Oh, an Exodus.
We covered most of the main holidays, and we didn't really want it. We don't want to really go too long, so we can just do questions. And
okay.
So go ahead, Robert.
Max and Robert, do you both believe in UFOs?
Yes.
Yes, I do believe there are unidentified flying objects, and I think they have to do with demons, fallen angels, those type of things. So they're satanic in nature, or technology the government doesn't want us to know, or both. Yep. What do you think, Max?
Same thing.
Yep. And they are real; they do exist, but like I said, there's a demonic something to it. So the best thing to do is stay away from those things if you can. Amen. How do those tie in the holidays?
They don't, but whatever. We'll just take questions.
Yeah, they don't.
It's Halloween. It's a free-for-all, man.
Yep.
Okay. Open line Friday. No, that's something else.
What do I
I'm trying to see if I have any questions.
Yeah, if you have questions, go ahead and do the @ symbol, and then start typing one of our names: @Max, @Rob, @Valerie. And then click on their name, because then it will bold it for us, so we can actually see what the question is. Sky Everlasting says, "I get you, but if children go out and do not understand, it still propagates Halloween and establishes it in the culture all the same." Well, we're not establishing culture with Halloween, but your children don't understand either way, and I don't have children, so I don't know if I would take them trick-or-treating or not, but it looks to me like they don't know about the pagan backgrounds of the holiday. They just know that their friends are going to go out and go get candy, and they want to dress up, and it's a fun time for them. And if that's as far as their knowledge of the holiday goes, what's wrong with that? Let them go do it. That's the way I see it. There are a lot of people who see it differently. Like I said, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about it. Obviously, I'm here on a live stream. I'm not giving out candy.
Yep. Especially not with crystal meth in it.
No.
Amen.
I can't afford crystal meth.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. So. Is it that expensive? Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. Probably cheap, unfortunately.
I can afford a glass of water. So
Okay.
I'm like, trick or treat. And I'm like, what trick are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's one question for me. Have you heard about the spirit of giving? Yeah. They talk about the spirit of giving, or the Christmas spirit. And again, there you go. What are they talking about? I don't think that's the spirit of Christ. So the Halloween spirit. Just be careful when you talk like that. I don't like that term, spirit of giving, or spirit of this, spirit of that. Yeah, what do you think?
Sky everlasting. I think that all these fantasies that children get taught sends them far away from the wisdom of God. Well,
Yeah.
I don't believe that in a Bible believing family at all. I think from a atheist secular family, yes, you're taught to value goods. You're taught to value material things and money, but not from a Christian thing. No, I don't believe that. At Robert Breaker and Max Bauer, Christmas in Australia is summertime.
Yep,
Is
it
it?
is. Yep.
Huh.
Now, here we are today, Max. The 1st of November. It's nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Sydney. And the London nearly 5 a.m. And early hours of the morning in the United States. Here is you can see most of the Antarctica sunlight, daylight. So you see the sun there, Australia's there, and you can see the day and night map. And most of the Arctic is in night time, and most of the Antarctic 24-hour, almost 24-hour daylight. See, it's springtime here. Now we go to the December solstice. All of the Antarctic, 24-hour daylight. We go back here.
Yep.
How about that?
Yep. In Australia, they think of Santa Claus in Bermuda shorts. It's hot down there.
Really?
Yeah,
in
it is.
December, huh?
Yep.
I have to go to Australia.
Hmm.
How does that work if the Earth is flat?
The Earth is not flat.
What's that?
How it's like summertime in Australia?
Oh. You're
Don't go there.
cutting in and out a little bit there, so.
Yeah, we're getting some blowback. Anyone else got any questions that they see?
See, Max, this is the reason why if I go to the United States, it's June, July. We go to the June solstice 2018. See, you see all the Antarctic nighttime, right? That's the direct moment. See, so that all the Arctic 24-hour sunlight. And plus the 6 hours. See? So summertime in June in the United States and wintertime in Australia in June.
The phrase trick or treat, give me a treat or I will trick you. Yeah, we talk about where that comes from, trick or treat. That goes back to the pagans, and they believed that the spirits would literally do a trick on you unless you gave something to the spirits, some sort of offering.
The
And
fruit
that
offering.
really ties.
Sorry, Robert. They had a fruit offering to I had that.
Okay, say that again because you cut out.
Oh, sorry. There was a fruit offering for the spirits so that the spirits would leave them alone.
Yeah, you see that all over the world too. The pagan nations, the food offerings, they have idols and they bring food offerings and things like that. But, it really does tie into witchcraft because witchcraft is communicating with spirits. So it's kind of scary. That's why I don't celebrate Halloween. I want nothing to do with spirits.
Exactly
Yeah.
right, Rob.
Amen.
Amen, yes.
Spiritual gifts at me As a Christian, how can you explain to your family the pagan roots of Christmas when, like everyone else, they just want to celebrate? The Lord revealed to me the truth about Xmas disturbing. How do I explain it to them? Well, if my kid is like 4 years old, I'm not.
Yep, that's right.
Maybe when they're like 6. But I'm not going to associate it with Christianity. It's going to be dress up day.
Yep.
And I don't even know that that will even happen. I'm just saying, kid's going to be like, well, Bobby's over there and he's going to go get candy and I can't get any candy. You know, I mean, it's a situation that I'm not involved in. How do I explain that stuff to kids? Well, tell them how it is. You don't tell them that there's a Santa Claus. You don't tell them that there's the Easter Bunny who's going to crap eggs in the backyard for you to go find. That happen to be made of chocolate. You don't lie about that stuff. You just tell them it's a holiday and we're just having fun. And don't take it too seriously. That's how it is. All right. Anyone else got anything?
Nope.
All right. How's it tasting, Robert? What do you got, a shish kebab?
Man, this is my food offering, man.
Do I have to drive down there and get some shish kebab?
Oh, gone. Last piece.
Oh.
So good. That was wonderful. Well, amen. I hope that was good. Went well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you, Robert. That was nice. Nice treat.
Yep.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you both for coming, and it looks like YouTube is kind of crapping out a little bit, so we're cutting in and out. And it's a good time to stop. Anybody who has any questions. We didn't get very too much far into a whole lot of deep, in-depth study, but it was nice to hang out.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
We appreciate y'all coming by. So with that, I think we are going to be out of here.
Yep. Good. Thank you.